Your life begins to change the moment you make a powerful mental shift, focusing on solutions instead of problems. This may sound simple, but most people are unaware that they spend most of their time stuck in the gravity of what's wrong. They fall into the trap of overthinking. They endlessly complain about the same situations each week. They wait for external forces or time itself to fix their internal struggles. The harsh truth is, the more you focus your energy on the problem, the bigger and more overwhelming it becomes. True progress feels distant because the energy is constantly funneled in the wrong direction. If you keep giving your time and focus to the problem, you will stay exactly where you are. Welcome to SMQ Audiobook. In this series, you'll learn the 12 laws of forward movement, strategies to permanently pivot your focus. You'll learn how to take back control of your mind, stop allowing anxiety and past resentments to dictate your decisions, and how to focus on actionable steps that move your life forward. This is real, science-backed advice, leading to real mindset changes and ultimately real results. We promise no fluff, no hype, just clear, simple, and immediately applicable truths to stop wasting mental energy and start building momentum. Chapter 1. Take full responsibility for what happens now. One of the most important and challenging steps you will take is to decide to take full responsibility for everything from this moment onward. This is not about your past, your childhood, your parents' choices, or your boss's unfairness. It's about your life, starting now. That decision changes everything: your thoughts, your emotional responses, your daily actions, and the future trajectory of your life. The moment you take full responsibility, you stop waiting for someone or something to fix your life. You stop blaming others and waiting for your circumstances to magically improve. You stop giving your power away to people or the past. People stay stuck because they're comfortable in the loop of blame. Blaming is easy. It requires no creative energy. You can blame your family, your past, your friends, your environment, or the system, but blame doesn't build anything. It drains your energy and keeps your focus on what's wrong instead of what could be right. Here's the crucial lesson. When you blame, you give away your control. But when you take full responsibility, you take back your power, even if the problem wasn't your fault. Responsibility doesn't mean fault. It means capability. You're now in charge of the situation and can create a better outcome. You cannot grow if your energy is consumed by explaining why you're stuck. Growth begins when you say, "This is my life and I'm in charge now." You focus on what you can control: your habits, your patterns, your thinking. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I do about it now?" This shift helps you move from focusing on problems to executing solutions. Every day you have the choice to either complain or create. If you want change, you must show up and build it. Own your effort, time, and decisions. Stop defending your excuses and start building unwavering consistency. Chapter 2. Train your focus to go where progress grows. Your life will follow the direction of your focus. If your energy is stuck on what's missing, broken, or hasn't worked, your brain will reinforce those negative patterns. You feel stuck not because opportunities are lacking, but because your mind constantly replays failures. Visual suggestion: a magnifying glass focusing on a small, healthy sapling labeled progress, while a large, dead tree labeled negativity is in the background. Progress can't grow in the soil of negative thinking. It requires clarity, direction, and deliberate effort. You must intentionally choose where to place your attention. Treat your focus like the most valuable asset because it is. Your focus is your energy, and where your energy goes, your future follows. Most people are focused on the wrong things: drama, obstacles, and noise, because they don't realize focus is a controllable skill. You can train focus like a muscle. Start by noticing what steals your focus: comparison, fear, or scattered thoughts. Scattered focus leads to scattered results. Train your focus by asking, "What am I giving my energy to right now?" If it doesn't serve your future, redirect it. This isn't ignoring problems. It's deciding not to feed them more energy than they deserve. Progress requires consistent action, not distractions. Throughout your day, catch moments when your mind drifts into negativity and pull it back to what matters. Strong minds build real change. You don't need perfect focus, just better than yesterday. Stop giving away your focus to every notification and irrelevant thought. When you choose your focus wisely, you become someone who builds, solves, and moves forward consistently. Chapter 3. Act before fear makes the problem feel too big. People fail to break through because they wait. They wait until they're ready, until the fear subsides, or until things get easier. But waiting only makes the problem seem larger. Fear doesn't shrink, it grows. The longer you wait, the more impossible the problem seems. This psychological law says fear will always expand if you allow it to. The most important action you can take is to act early and often. Act before fear builds its walls. Overthinking isn't preparation, it's fear disguised as analysis. Movement builds courage, even if it's just one small step. Fear grows when you give it space. But fear is not a signal to stop, it's a signal to start. Your brain can't tell the difference between real danger and emotional discomfort. When you feel fear, act. Once you move, your brain realizes you're safe and the discomfort subsides. Fear may still be there, but now you control the pace. Action gives you momentum, something fear can't touch. Courage isn't feeling confident, it's doing the thing anyway. Act early and you keep the problem small, manageable, and solvable. Build courage in motion. Make your life a story of action, not hesitation. Chapter 4. Take full ownership of how you react to setbacks. Every person without exception faces setbacks. Life is not a linear progression. It throws you off course without warning. You will face failures, disappointments, and things that fall apart. But the measure of your growth is never the setback itself. It is how you react to it and what you do next. You do not control the initial event, but you have absolute control over your response. This is the ultimate source of personal power and the engine of real progress. Your first reaction to any failure or setback is a diagnostic test for the quality of your mindset. If your default response is frustration, blame, or self-pity, you are simply reinforcing habits that guarantee you will stay in the same place. Conversely, if you train yourself to pause, maintain awareness, and choose a forward-moving response, you build a life that gets stronger under pressure instead of collapsing. The tendency to react is just a habit. If your usual move is to complain, your mind will default to that easy path. But taking ownership of your reactions means you stop running in those fruitless mental circles. Ownership is not emotional suppression, it is emotional direction. It's standing up and declaring, "This negative event occurred, and I am the one who will decide its meaning and my next move." This mindset instantly makes the setback smaller and your sense of control larger. The exact same loss can shatter one person and forge a diamond in another. The difference is the choice of response. One person gets bitter, the other gets better. When a setback occurs, give yourself a moment, not to wallow, but to intentionally pause. Ask yourself, what is my immediate emotional reaction telling me about my fear? What would the stronger, wiser, solution-oriented version of myself do right now? You grow when you stop the automatic emotional reaction and start the intentional, strategic response. A response is analytical, calculated, and focused on the solution. Chapter 5. Seek clarity, not certainty. The search for certainty is the problem-focused mind's favorite procrastination tool. Many people believe they require a guaranteed 100% risk-free outcome before they can begin a difficult task. But certainty is an illusion. It is merely delay and paralysis masked as preparation. Clarity, however, is a resource you build through movement. Clarity means understanding the immediate, single next step with sufficient detail. It means clearly defining your why and your desired outcome, even if the roadmap beyond the next turn is covered in fog. When you focus on solutions, you stop prioritizing the safest path and start prioritizing the clearest path forward. Instead of passively demanding a guarantee from the universe, you ask the productive question, what is the 80% I need to know to take this first step right now? The trap of seeking certainty ensures you spend all your intellectual capital analyzing a future you cannot control, instead of acting in the present moment you can. This inaction fuels the power of the problem. Seek clarity not by endless reading, but by outlining your core values, isolating the single most important goal for the week, and defining the three smallest, non-negotiable actions you will take today to move towards it. Clarity is built by doing, by gathering information from the real world, not by waiting for a perfect sign. Chapter 6. Measure effort, not just outcome. The problem-focused mind is fixated on external validation and outcomes. The final score, the scale number, the promotion, or the dollar amount. When outcomes are measured exclusively, any failure leads directly to emotional burnout because your self-worth is tied to variables you often cannot control. The key to unbreakable forward momentum is to shift your measurement system to consistent, high-quality effort. Effort is the only variable in the equation of success that you truly 100% control. When you measure effort, the 60 minutes spent working with deep focus, the difficult client call you prepared for and initiated, the crucial healthy habit you maintained for an entire month, you build a profound sense of internal competence. This internal competence is what allows you to win even when the immediate external result is a failure. A failure in outcome, like a rejected proposal, is not a problem to mourn, but simply data and feedback. If you consistently measure your effort, you can immediately pivot and ask, what did I learn from the high-quality effort I put in that will refine my strategy? This transforms the problem, the loss, into a solution, the refined strategy. Dedicate yourself to becoming the kind of person who shows up every single day with intentional effort, regardless of the scoreboard. Chapter 7. Establish high-value friction. By default, the human mind and body gravitate toward the path of least resistance. This biological imperative is what makes distraction so addictive and discipline so elusive, but the law of forward movement states that real sustainable growth occurs through intentional friction. When you focus on solutions, you deliberately introduce high-value friction into your life. This means strategically placing barriers between yourself and low-value, problem-feeding behavior, while simultaneously simplifying access to high-value, productive work. High-value friction is an act of proactive self-discipline. Putting your phone in a lockbox while you work, scheduling mandatory 90-minute deep work sprints, or deleting social media apps off your primary screen. It is the conscious engineering of your environment to make it harder to fail and effortless to succeed. The problems you face, procrastination, anxiety, distraction, all thrive on low-value friction, the easy automatic slide into mindless behavior. By establishing discipline through deliberate, high-value friction, you begin training your mind to associate initial discomfort with the inevitable rewards of growth, rather than with avoidance and collapse. Chapter 8. Detach your identity from the problem. One of the most persistent reasons people remain stuck in cyclical problems is that they unconsciously fuse their identity with their difficulties. They stop viewing themselves as a person who currently has debt and internalize the identity of a debtor. They stop seeing themselves as a person who made a mistake and become a failure. The problem ceases to be a situation and becomes their personality. Focusing on solutions requires a rigorous, strategic detachment of your current identity from the current problem. You are not your circumstances, and you are not the mistakes you made 5 minutes ago. You are the consciousness that retains the power to decide what to do next. To practice this, reframe your internal dialogue completely. Stop saying, I am an unproductive person. Instead, practice saying, I am a person currently practicing and building better organizational habits. This small but fundamental language shift separates your inherent value, your identity, from your changeable behavior, the problem. When you successfully detach your identity, you create the necessary emotional space to effectively and objectively execute a solution without the paralyzing fear of personal failure. Chapter 9. Focus on elimination, not just addition. When faced with a difficult challenge, the problem-focused mind defaults to asking, what else do I need to add? More books, more courses, more software, more planning. This leads to information overload and exhaustion. The law of solutions dictates that often The most powerful and immediate path to progress is not in addition, but in strategic elimination. Focus on identifying the core activities, commitments, or emotional drains that are actively causing or perpetuating the problem. Which habits, low value obligations, or recurring distractions need to be ruthlessly removed from your life? The act of removing a draining, low return commitment often frees up more effective energy and time than adding three new productive habits combined. The best and most elegant solution is nearly always the simplest one, achieved through a process of subtraction. This principle of elimination clarifies your schedule, regenerates your mental energy, and ensures that your finite resources are concentrated solely on the few high leverage actions that will truly move the needle. Chapter 10. Embrace the constructive discomfort of growth. Problems are comfortable because they are familiar. They are well-worn grooves in your mental landscape. Solutions, by their very nature, require movement, stretching, and change is inherently uncomfortable. When you commit to a solution-oriented mindset, you must shift your perspective and actively embrace the constructive discomfort of growth. This is the focused burn of the muscle during a challenging workout, the mental strain of acquiring a new, difficult skill, or the initial awkwardness of a necessary, difficult conversation. This is not pain for its own sake, but pain with a clear, valuable purpose. When you feel this constructive discomfort, your solution-focused mind must acknowledge it as an undeniable sign that you are successfully pushing against old, limiting boundaries. You must consciously reframe discomfort from a signal to stop or retreat, the problem focus, to a powerful signal to continue and lean in, the solution focus. Chapter 11. Practice. Solution time boxing. Problems have a malignant tendency to expand and fill all the time and space you allow them. The advanced practice of solution time boxing is a technique specifically designed to impose strict, non-negotiable limits on problem-focused behavior. When a problem arises, designate a fixed, short period, no more than 15 minutes, exclusively for analyzing the problem, venting, and allowing yourself to feel the necessary emotion. When that timer sounds, the problem discussion immediately ends. You must then pivot to the solution time box, where you dedicate a minimum of 45 minutes to generating and executing actionable next steps. This forces your brain out of the problem narrative, which is passive, and into solution implementation, ensuring your most powerful resource, your time, is channeled toward forward movement. Chapter 12. Build the habit of asking, what's working? The final law of forward movement is a powerful counterintuitive habit. The problem-focused mind is relentlessly dedicated to finding what is wrong, broken, or deficient. The solution-focused mind must be equally and relentlessly dedicated to finding what is working. Even in the midst of the worst setback, there are always elements that are still functional, habits you maintained, or small victories you achieved. Make it a conscious, non-negotiable daily habit to pause and ask, what is currently working, and how can I leverage that to do more of it? This simple question forces a profound mental pattern shift from searching for deficit to searching for abundance. It identifies your existing foundation and uses that positive momentum to fuel your next action, preventing the negative, paralyzing spiral that typically follows a perceived failure. Focus on success, even minor fractional success, and success will inevitably follow your attention. You have now internalized the 12 concrete laws for shifting your focus from crippling problems to powerful solutions. The difference between people who consistently move forward and people who stay perpetually stuck is not found in luck, connections, or circumstances. It is found entirely in responsibility, surgical focus, and radical action. You do not need approval or permission to change your life. You need discipline, unwavering direction, and brutal honesty with yourself. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is fleeting. You need responsibility, which is the force that creates structure. Structure creates consistent results, and consistent results create the unshakable confidence that keeps you moving through any obstacle. Your time starts now, not tomorrow, not when it's finally convenient. Show up. Own your path. Be the sole reason your life moves forward. Your ability to create a remarkable future depends entirely on the purposeful actions you choose to take today.